Hi guys, I'm going to show you today how to do this watercolor floral set. It's super easy to do. It's not really anything difficult, so don't be freaked out by it. We are going to use some Pro Gel colors. I'm going to use the sunflower, which is a really pretty color for summer, the gooseberry, and the brown. You can use whatever gel colors you want. I use Everclear when I paint because it dries really fast. So I've got some Everclear here. I have my cookies that are already flooded and really dry. And I'm only going to use one paintbrush. So this is a number 4 round paintbrush. You can buy it at Hobby Lobby, any really art supply store. And then we're gonna use the Sugar Art Sterling Pearl Wedding Gold. It is totally edible, FDA approved, and kosher. And then I've got a little bag of extra royal and a paint palette. You can use a paper plate, a house plate, whatever you got. Okay, we're gonna start with our really pretty leaf. All of these cookie cutters, by the way, come from Bobby's Cookie Cutters. She's on Etsy. To start, we're just going to put a tiny little dab, and I do mean a tiny little dab. You don't have to do a lot, on your palette, and we're going to add some Everclear. You can use water. I just prefer not to because water tends to pit your icing if you're not really careful with it. Okay, so we're just going to mix this up. Now this is a round brush, so it has a point on it, so it makes it really easy. So what we're going to start to do is we're just going to go from the top, and we're going to just swoosh all the way down to the stem. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then we're going to use our brush again, and we'll use the actual contour of the brush. So we're going to put it down and then press and then make our leaves. So you just put it down and then kind of make your leaf. Now if they don't come out perfect, I mean, this is not exactly a perfect leaf. Okay, so again, don't be super perfectionistic about this. You're just going to push down, press down, and pull up. And that'll make your leaves. Now, the kind of the beauty of watercolors, which I like so much, is that, like you can see here, they already kind of give you some shading, some light and dark. You can go and accentuate that if you want to, but you don't have to. Okay. Now this one's all done. Now what I usually do is I'll kind of come back over the edges just using the point of my brush just to give them a little bit more definition here and there. You don't have to. Oops. Okay, so then that's that one. What I usually do with this is I'll kind of let it dry for just a little bit, and then I splatter it with a little bit of gold to kind of jazz it up some. But that's that one. Not hard, guys. Okay, now let's go on and do the next flower, the cone flower. I'm trying to clean out my brush. Okay, the cone flower is super easy. We're going to use the same techniques, except we're going to use some sunflower. This is a real pretty kind of orangey yellow color, which is why I like it. It's kind of summery. Come out. Okay, and again, when you're doing these, you don't need a lot of color. That's why your colors will last. If you buy some of these Pro Gel colors, it's kind of sticker shock at first because they are a little bit expensive, but they will last you for a very, very long time. Okay. All right, so now I'm just gonna kind of swoosh this around. And we're just gonna go petal by petal and go from the edge in. From the edge in. And you don't have to be super technical about it, just from the edge in. Because like I said before, the watercolors will tend to overlap each other, and then that will help give you some definition in your painting that you might not otherwise have. I kind of diluted this a little too much, so I'm just getting a little gel color out, and then what I'm gonna do is just go back over the edge. Now these are super fast. They don't really require a whole bunch of thought. And then you're gonna add these little, because the centers are always darker, so I add that. And you can kind of fiddle with it. Go back with your brush, kind of fill it in some if you want to, just fix your coloring. Because I'm going super fast just to get this done for you guys. Again, go back over the edge just to give a little bit of definition. Okay, now while I have yellow already on my brush, I'm going to let this one dry for just a sec before I finish it. I'm going to show you how to do this rose. Okay, to do this rose, there's no rhyme or reason to it. I just kind of goop paint, for lack of a better word. I just kind of swirl some paint around on here. And then I will take a little bit of less diluted colors, and I'm just going to start in the center with little semicolons. Now if you really don't feel comfortable doing this with a brush, you can go back and do this with an edible marker. That would work too. But we're just going to go around and do the petals with the darker value of the same color. That's all there is to that one. Okay, so now I'm going to add a little bit of a leaf here, and we'll do it the same way that we did our leaf on our other set. Kind of add the darker to the outside. Okay, there's that. Now for the center of our coneflower, we're going to just use a little bit of brown. And for the coneflower, what I did was when I originally piped it, I added some dimension to it by just over piping, just kind of randomly, some dots and squiggles just to give it a little bit of texture. That's way too much brown, but oh well. Okay. So all I'm going to do now is take some of this brown, add a little bit of gel Everclear to it. Now the brown in the Pro Gel, it looks like this nasty black when you first get it out, but as it dries, it'll dry a black. it'll dry brown or brownish, darker brown. Okay. So then I'm just going to do the center, kind of dab it in to get in all those little, and if you kind of come off your edge a little bit, that's okay. Okay, that one's done. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, on my coneflower, what I like to do is I take a little bit of extra oil and I'll just kind of overpipe the leaves just to give them a little bit more dimension and kind of outline them. Okay. And it's kind of got goopy, but you get the idea. Now you can come back with a brush and kind of, if this gets a little like this did here, got a little heavy, just kind of lift it off. It's not a big deal. Okay. Okay. Now there's all those. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little gold to them because I just like to add gold. And I just take the wedding gold, I'll mix it with a little bit of Everclear. Take some, put it on my palette, mix it with a little Everclear, and then I just splatter it, for lack of a better. Okay. You can dab the gold on if you want to, but I just splatter it. You just kind of tap your paintbrush and it'll splatter randomly. It adds some more interest. If you really want to add some more detail to these, you can get an edible marker, kind of go over your leaves, or, you know, paint around your leaves. But that's all there is to it, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.